let me backtrack just a little bit so that we can understand what you might have been going through. What was your feeling when the judge says prison for your husband?
Oh, well, I absolutely fell apart. I started crying, and I just went out of the courtroom.
Were the children with you?
No, not at that time.
How did they take it?
Oh, well, they thought it was the end of the world, too. And all of us were trying to keep each other, you know, bolstered up and keep you from thinking about it. But it seemed to draw everybody closer together, too.
Did they have any problems with their friends? Did they have to take any?
Yeah, they took a little bit from their friends, but as I
saying
said,
your dad's a crook, and
mm-hmm.
your
your dad's a jailbird and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they had been out of high school at that time, so that helped.
And how about the night before he went to prison? What'd you do that night?
You won't believe this, but I wanted to go with him down there. I had a show that day. He had to report there, I think, at noon. And I had a show, so I couldn't even go with him. 2 of my daughters went with him. And that was another thing that was really painful because of what they had to go through, you know, to see him being taken away like that.
Now, I've heard Maxwell Prison be described as a country club prison.
Well, when I first got down there, I thought it would be bars and all this stuff. There were no bars. And they could meet with their families, you know, in a big area like this. And they had card tables set up and chairs where you could visit for about 8 hours out of the day. You got there around 8:30 in the morning. And maybe not quite 8 hours, but most of the day. And then you had to leave around 3:30, somewhere around there.
Yeah, would you describe it as a country club?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to be in a country club like that.
How did Lee handle it? How did your husband handle the first breaking in days of
Well,
prison?
he was very upset with the situation too, but he's a man that can make friends very easily. And first few days, he wrote letters and got acquainted with the people around the area and called me dozens of times. And then he started writing the book about one day at a time. So kept him busy doing that.
You went down there often, didn't you?
Every chance I got, which was like when I didn't have a show.
Did you ever do a show at prison?
No, I went down there to, I did one show on the base, but it wasn't for the prisoners. They wouldn't let me because my husband was there. And I did it for the Air Force officers. And that was very painful too because when I got to sing One Day at a Time, I knew he was within maybe a few hundred yards of where I was and I couldn't get to him. And that was the only time I couldn't get through One Day at a Time. But from then on, I could make it through.
Because, you know, there are a lot of people who have had to undergo their loved ones being sent away to prison. And everybody describes it in pretty much the same way. It's that feeling of separation, that feeling
Right.
of being cut off all of a sudden from a part of their life that they took for granted. In your case, it was something special because that was your part of your career, too. I mean,
Right.
it wasn't just your husband going, it was your manager and...
That's it. He took care of everything. And when I was out there doing the show, I would maybe have to have a few words with some of the managers or that took care of the fares and things like that. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I was able to handle it.
Okay, before we take the next break, I just want to ask you what kind of feelings that part of your life has left you with. You say he was innocent and was unfairly sentenced to prison. The government says he was guilty. How do you feel?
Well, as I told the judge when I was up there, I told him that I knew he was innocent, but that this was the way our system is, and that I would accept whatever he had to take. And that's all you can do.
Okay. We'll take a break and be right back with more with Miss Cristy Lane. .
sweet Jesus. I'm only human. I'm just a woman. Help me believe